Yes, Captain Scheer.
Hey, sir, how you doing? This is CJ Grisham. I'm with Open Carry, Texas.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. I was hoping to call you. I think you've been in contact with some of our other members, but I wanted to kind of reach out directly and find out how we can bridge this trust deficit that seems to be occurring between our department and yours.
Okay. What specifically are you talking about, sir?
Well, just that DPS, you guys are charging our guys with disorderly conduct for, was it violations of 3.146?
They were filed on for 4201A8, if I recall.
But they were carrying the black powder pistols, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I mean, I guess my concern is why were they charged and not the guys carrying AKs and ARs?
Because their actions fit the law violation.
Well, but that talks about firearms, and the black powder pistols aren't considered firearms under Texas law.
What else does it talk about on there, sir?
What's that?
Besides firearms.
Carrying a firearm in a manner calculated to cause alarm?
Doesn't it say display a firearm or other deadly weapon in a manner calculated to cause alarm?
But it's in a holster.
Yes, sir.
I mean, how do you carry a weapon in a holster without it not being calculated to cause alarm?
That's a good question, sir.
Well, I mean, but if you guys can't answer that, then how can you charge people with it?
Sir, I can answer it, and we did answer it.
Can you answer it for me? I mean, that's what I don't get. I mean, I gotta talk to 6,000 members here.
Their actions caused alarm, and they were arrested for that. That's a deadly weapon.
But what actions specifically? I mean, what actions are we talking about? What do I tell my people not to do so that they don't get charged by DPS?
They should not openly carry a revolver on their side when they come to the Capitol.
But, sir, that's not against the law.
That's something the courts will determine. It's not something you should decide, sir.
No, sir, but this is, what you're doing is, I mean, the law is very, very clear. I mean, it's very clear.
I agree with you. It is very clear. So
it's very clear that an 1899 or pre-1899 revolver that is not center-fired if it's a replica or rim-fired is not considered a firearm and does not have to be concealed.
You're correct on the first part. It's not considered a firearm. You're not correct on the second part. I would respectfully disagree with you, sir.
Then exactly which law requires me to conceal an 1899 or prior firearm?
Chapter 42.01 A8.
No, that's disorderly conduct.
Specific. That's correct, and that's what was filed on your on the folks.
Okay,
came up here.
But you recognize that Chapter 46 of the Penal Code is what specifically states when a weapon must be concealed, right?
I recognize it very well, sir. I'm very familiar with both of those laws.
Okay, and Chapter 46 does not state that a pre-1899 firearm has to be concealed.
Sir, I'm not going to get into debate on the phone with you
about
what you believe the law is. I am going to suggest to you, though, that the court will decide that. The department's been very clear in communicating with your people. We've asked them not to do certain things, and I've also explained those to you here today.
All right, but sir, let me ask you this. Why is it that your department is the only department right now that is charging our people with disorderly conduct for doing the exact same thing around the entire state with the approval of not only other DPS officers, but police officers in the municipalities and counties that we go in? I mean, you're the only one doing this. I mean, do you realize what that makes your department look like there in the capital, the state's capital?
Sir, we're going to continue to protect the clients that come up here, the citizens of the state of Texas, and we're going to continue to handle our business in such a manner. And as for the question that you originally asked, I can't speak for what other agencies do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand that, but why are you, sir, looking for ways to arrest law-abiding citizens who are doing? Are you honestly telling me?
I'm not.
No,
I'm not agreeing with
Captain,
you.
Are you honestly telling me that these people are dangerous?
I'm respectfully disagreeing with what you just said.
No, but are you telling me that these people who are walking around with pistols in a holster are dangerous? Are doing something dangerous that threatens the lives of people?
I'm telling you that's based on their actions. And
okay,
and
but what action?
What makes
what
that
action?
determination?
But
I'm not going to just hold on.
No,
you're arguing with me.
I have to argue with you because sir, you're abusing your authority.
I don't have to argue with you.
You don't have to answer to people.
And I'm not going to. And I'm not going to speak to specific cases.
Okay, then don't speak to a specific case. Captain, please.
Weren't involved in that case.
Let's not go down rabbit trail. Captain,
information
to
y'all.
I'm not asking you about specific cases, Captain. I'm asking you generically, what do I go and tell my members that they have to do in order not to be slapped with a false charge by Texas DPS at the Capitol? What you said?
You just made a misstatement, so I can't answer that for you.
No, listen. Stop interrupting me. We can have a conversation.
Stop interrupting me, sir.
You started this whole interruption. Now, please, let me just ask a simple question, and then I will give you a time to respond, and then I would like to respond, and let's have a cordial conversation between a chief law enforcement officer, and a member of a major organization for gun rights in Texas. Can we do that?
If you'll abide by what you just said, sure.
Absolutely. Okay, now, how does a person that is carrying a black powder pistol or revolver that is pre-1899, as defined in Chapter 46 of the Texas Penal Code, that is carrying such a 1899 or prior black powder pistol or revolver in a holster, legally as defined, but let's not even do that. But because you talk about actions, and the word action is an active verb, so someone has to actively be doing something. So how does a person carrying a holstered black powder pistol that does not meet the definition of a firearm, as described in Chapter 46.035 and 46, that defines when a pistol must be concealed, how does a person carry that in a manner not calculated to cause alarm?
See, if the problem with what you just said, for me to be able to answer that, is I don't agree with the statements you just made.
You don't agree with the law?
I respectfully disagree with what you just said. Okay, so I can't answer that question from the standpoint of what you're asking.
Okay, what do you disagree with?
I started off, and if you'll go back to 4201 A8, it says displays a handgun, or it says firearm or other deadly weapon. Okay. You and I both know that a black powdered pistol is a deadly weapon. And that's where that's at.
Okay, wait a minute, but a handgun, a black powder pistol is not a handgun, and we're talking about...
It's not. It is not.
It's not a firearm. You just cut me off again.
My apologies.
Okay. If the 46 is what we're talking about concealed here, and you're talking about openly, Chapter 46 of the Penal Code specifically talks about when a weapon must be concealed. So, and it specifically states that a black powder pistol does not meet that definition. So if it doesn't have to be concealed, it can obviously be carried openly. So how can it be carried openly in a manner not calculated to cause alarm?
I was talking about Chapter 42.
Well, I understand that.
Okay.
I understand.
And I think we agreed that your black powdered revolver didn't meet the definitions of a firearm. Correct?
It does not meet the definition of a firearm. You're correct.
Okay. I will agree with you on that. Okay. But I am letting you know that it is a deadly weapon. Okay? And the chapter does not just discuss firearms.
Correct.
It discusses other deadly weapons.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. what is the most used object to kill people in the United States of America and the state of Texas?
I'm not going to engage in that conversation with you.
I mean, it's important because it's a deadly object. What is the most?
There's a lot of things that kill people in this United States.
I'm just asking you, as a chief law enforcement officer, what is the most deadly object, most deadly weapon in the state of Texas?
And what I'm advising you is, I'm not going to engage in a conversation that takes down a path where you can talk about specific instances.
I don't want to talk about
what we're talking about here.
I don't want to talk about specific instances, Officer Captain. I want to talk about what is the most deadly weapon in the state of Texas. It's a very generic question. I'm not asking you about a case. What is the most deadly weapon in the state of Texas?
That's not something I'm going to answer for you.
Is it because
of how you're asking this? This conversation.
Then let me tell you, it is either a hammer or a club. That is what most people are killed by in the state of Texas, is a hammer and club.
Okay.
So, if I openly carry a hammer or a club, how do I carry that in a manner not calculated to cause alarm?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, you've got to tell me. I mean, if I come down
there... No, I don't have to tell you, and I'm not going to engage in specific what ifs or this or that. That's not the case, sir.
Okay, so if I want
to stick to what we're talking about here.
Well, we're talking about Chapter A8, and you're talking about deadly weapons. So I want to talk. So I want to talk about deadly weapons.
And I talk specifically about the ones where we filed cases.
No, wait.
So I think I have provided you
can't talk about specific cases. If you can't talk about specific cases, I can't talk about specific cases. So let's not talk about your specific cases. I want to talk about deadly weapons.
I'm not going to engage in this conversation.
Is it because you can't? Is it because that you have an untenable position?
Nothing even close to that, sir.
All right. Well,
disagree with your position.
Here's what we're going to do, because we have a very fundamental disagreement where I believe in the rule of law and you believe in the rule of your opinion. So
you're mistaken again, sir.
We are going to bring hundreds of Texans to Austin. I mean, hundreds of Texans. And we are all going to open carry black powder pistols and revolvers and our rifles and our shotguns. And we're going to basically force you to either accept our rights under the law, or you're going to arrest hundreds and thousands of people. Are you prepared to do that?
Are you threatening me, sir?
No, I didn't. Did I say I was threatening you? No. I said that I'm bringing down law-abiding citizens by the hundreds and thousands who are going to openly carry in a peaceful manner their rifles, pistols, and shotguns that are lawfully allowed to be carried openly, because you don't seem to respect our rights. And so we are going to exercise our rights in a way in which you either, one, have to respect them, or two, have to deny the rights and arrest hundreds or thousands of people. There's nothing threatening in there. I can see how you would think that because you're a very authoritarian figure. But no, I'm not threatening.
You're mistaken, sir.
No, you are. You are looking for ways to arrest law-abiding citizens as opposed to respecting their rights. That's what you're doing.
Your opinion, and I respectfully disagree.
Okay, and we're going to have to respectfully disagree, but we will see you shortly. I will get in contact with you when we know we're going to have our event, so you can get your teams ready, because I know you're going to want to arrest a lot of people. And that way we can coordinate this, and you can get all the people in place to, put down what you believe to be threatening. We might even have a few hammers and clubs just to see how we can carry those in a manner that's not calculated to cause alarm. Because you want to talk about deadly weapons. But the fact of the matter is, we're not going to let you sit by and just violate people's rights. We can't do that.
You're entitled to your opinion. I understand that.
And you're entitled to using your
heads up so that we can keep everyone safe. And I would appreciate that.
But Officer Captain, you sit here and talk about safety. And I just don't get how you can say that with a straight face when you've got a pastor that you're arresting for carrying a black powder revolver that never even made it onto Capitol grounds.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see how you can say that with a safe face, that you're sitting there trying to look at public safety when nobody has done anything threatening.
I respectfully disagree with you, sir.
Are your officers seriously threatened by a man carrying a gun?
I respectfully disagree with with the conversation you're having. You're entitled to your opinion.
I disagree with the conversation, too.
That doesn't mean you're correct.
It doesn't mean you are either.
And obviously that'll happen in the courtroom.
Well, and that's a sad state, that you would rather send peaceful Americans through the cost and process. Do you realize that you're affecting people's employment?
Sir, I don't take care of other people's actions.
Of course you don't care about people's actions.
No, I didn't say care. I don't take care of other people's actions. People choose to do what they do. I didn't choose that.
Oh, you chose to arrest people for doing nothing wrong.
You're entitled to your opinion. I don't agree.
I don't know how you sleep at night, Captain. I really don't. I don't know how you sleep at night.
I don't know why you continue to sit there and banter back and forth.
Because I'm appalled. I am absolutely appalled. We just had a huge event at Gonzales, Texas, where dozens of people were openly carrying black powder pistols, and police officers were having conversations with us, and you know what? It's just we've had McAllen and Temple and Houston and Fort Worth, and by golly, everywhere but your people. And you're the only department right there, and it's not even DPS. It's just the Capitol DPS. I don't know if you guys got kicked off patrols elsewhere, and that's like a prison sentence for you guys at the Capitol. But
why would you make derogatory comments?
Because you're arresting my people. That's as derogatory as you can get.
Okay. Well, I don't have time to continue this conversation.
But you have time to arrest my guys. Hey, take care, Captain. You have a great day.
Bye.